So you made it into the server, and now you need to know what to do. So there's a couple things that I would recommend doing just as a bare minimum, and then there are also some bonus things that I'll walk you through. So first, once in server, hit escape. And I would start with getting my HUD set up first, because if you just joined a race and it's about to start, there's a couple things you're going to want. So hit escape. This is all changed if you haven't been in 0.39 yet. System, HUD apps. We're in BeamNG. You can choose to use these custom ones if you want for different types of setups. I would just start with BeamNG, go to edit layout. Once in edit layout, you will add apps. And now this is the tricky one here. You want simple countdown. What this will do is it will provide a countdown timer so you know when to leave the line. It's right here. You can see it has some orange lines through it. For some reason, this has been antiquated and is considered an auxiliary app. So by default, it's set to exclude. So you'll need to go to this window, put include, then you can add your simple countdown. And then on top of that, I would also recommend searching Rekles, and then add the HUD, and also add the leaderboard. Once you've added those, you can click on the screen. It'll make that go away. Now you can move these around. This would be your HUD, which will replace the standard BeamNG tacho in the corner over here that usually tells you what gear you're in, how fast you're going. This one's much more user-friendly and intuitive. There's also the Rekles leaderboard. I would leave it roughly the width that it spawns in and make it slightly longer, because when you're racing, you're going to toggle these displays anyways so that it's not in your view, but there'll be some settings here that you want to have access to. And then the simple countdown timer, I would put that somewhere in the upper middle of your screen. That's to where it's not blocking your view, but you don't have to look away to see it. This will not be up while racing, only when the grid is starting, and it will cycle for each interval, whether you start on a 15, 30-second, or 1-minute intervals. So once you have that set, you can hit back twice and it'll ask you to save. Save it. It doesn't always save. The next time you log into the server, they might not be like this. You might have to do that process again, but it seems like eventually they take. So then you can hit escape, which will get you back to your main screen here. If you click on these buttons, this will change the opacity. So if you need to see through it, click on these. It will change from Fahrenheit to Celsius. This is also a convenient little parking brake that Sam added to it. Then in the leaderboard, you can hit cycle display. It also has an opacity adjustment, and this will show you all the standings. And then there's also this function where you can refuel your car. There's also a fire extinguisher if your car catches on fire and you don't want to take a trail repair. You can extinguish the fire. You can add zip ties if you're superstitious. And then there's also some more advanced functions like list course, where if for some reason you go into a server and the track is not set, you can go to the events tab, see what track is being raced or qual that's being raced. You can click here, you can list the courses, and you can select which one you want. Please be courteous and do not change the course while people are running it. Always ask first. The best way is to either do it in the chat down here or join the Discord with the adjacent chat. So usually race 1 will have a race 1 chat, race 2 will have a race 2 chat. This is a U4 server that's live all the time for people who want to come and practice this map in particularly. So we have that covered. Now there is one more thing that you're probably going to want to add depending on the difficulty of the race we're doing. So if you go to vehicles, vehicle config, you have to have a vehicle spawned in already. You search winch. Right now it has that on there. You're going to add a Rekles winch. And what that will do is it doesn't really change anything visually on the car, but now you can put your mouse somewhere on the screen, wherever you'd like to hook up a winch within range, and hit T. And then you can hit Y, and that will actually winch you in. And in certain races, you can use this to assist yourself up an obstacle with a 1 minute or whatever is set to that event penalty. And then to winch out, you hit Y or Shift Y. So T to hook it up, Y to winch in, Shift Y to winch out, and then Shift T to disconnect. Whatever you do, don't hit R because you'll give yourself a trail repair. So it is encouraged to either remove R as your reset button and leave it as insert, or remap those winch controls to something else. Also, in your settings, I would get familiarized with this new HUD. It's all changed, it's all good things, but there's a few things you'll want to change, like system options, then BeamNG vehicle update queue. Automatically apply vehicle changes. So when people queue in a new car, it'll freeze your game. So if you're in the middle of a race and you're side by side with someone, your game freezes, theirs doesn't, things are going to get weird. So you can turn this off to where it won't queue right when you're in the middle of something important. And this isn't as straightforward as it used to be, so you may have to play around with these options to get it how you want it. There's also controls. This is where you can go in and you can map something to toggle the player name tags, because at times there may be so many player name tags on the screen that you can't even see the trail. So I like to keep these on a toggle because you can just turn them off, but sometimes it's nice to see where everybody's at, especially if it's on a track where it starts in a location that you don't know. You can turn name tags on, see where everybody's at, and fly to them. Rekles winch settings are right here, so you can rebind these to whatever you want. You don't have to completely override the current one. You can just add a secondary binding as long as it's not conflicting with something else. There's also the display settings. This is a pretty helpful thing. I would check it out. You want to make sure your refresh rate is set to something fairly high. Sometimes you'll have something that can do 240 hertz, but for some reason it's set to 60. I would turn it up. That way you get a little better refresh rate. If you're doing a multi-monitor setup and you click onto your secondary monitor and it causes Beam to go black and close out, switch from full screen to borderless. That'll fix that problem. Also, you do have to hit apply display settings every time you change something in here, otherwise it will not. If your screen is too dark or too light, you can use this to adjust it. Be careful about going too far because there are changing weather conditions a lot of times and things will get really bright or really dark. But dig through these settings. You don't need most of them, but there are some that you will want to know about. For the most part, I think we have the basics covered. Feel free to ask questions in the Discord. And hopefully, once they get all the troubleshooting done, things will be back to normal. As far as saving your vehicle configs, that's one that people have been having trouble with. So under vehicles, you vehicle config, you do make your changes. This is obviously your parts now. The tuning is here, your paint, and then if you want to save the changes that you made, you go save vehicle config. You have to type a configuration name up here, and then that will be savable. So if I miss something, we'll catch it in the next video, but hopefully this is helpful.